In this episode of Vegan Visibility, I'm going to talk to you about really tapping into your intuition to know the right thing to do for your business. Because so often we have an inspiring thought, we have a inspirational quote we read, we might read something in a book and we get a great idea, and then we say, oh, no, what will people think? Well, in this episode, I'm going to tell you what will people think. Stick around.
Welcome to the Vegan Visibility Podcast Show, where your host, Kathleen Gage, shines the spotlight on vegan and plant-based businesses and entrepreneurs from all walks of life committed to cruelty-free eating, healthy lifestyles, animal compassion, and the environment. Enjoy the show.
Are vegans more intuitive than non-vegans? That's a question I was asking myself today on my run, and the thought that came to me is just share it on a podcast episode. And so today I'm going to talk about bits and pieces of intuition and what it means to me and how I've incorporated that into my business. Because quite seriously, when we consume meat and dairy, we are actually clogging our intuitive channels up with anger, with fear, with death, with torture. That is a fact of life. So today I'm really excited to share with you some of my insights that intuitively I'm being led to share. So very often in business, we really go into the logical side of what we're doing instead of really tapping into our intuition. And one thing I know about being a vegan and not consuming any animal or dairy products is that my intuition actually has expanded as a result of that. And I've been on a spiritual journey for many, many years, and that's something some people know, and that's something other people don't know. Well, now you know. If you're listening to this, since my, I would say, early 20s, I was really on a journey. So we're going back about 45, 46 years that I've been really consciously looking for answers. And the main answer I've come up with now that I'm in my late 60s is to realize that the more we search for the answers and the more we dig and the more we really devalue what we've already learned, the less we're going to know the answers. It's really quite simple. And it's really trusting the process and trusting what it is that we are being called to do. This morning, I went on an early morning run. It was just around sunrise, and it was out at one of my favorite places to run. It's near a river, and often I see fox, I see coyotes, I see a lot of squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, salamanders, lizards, and even snakes. And that area really allows me to just open up and expand in my thinking. And what came to me today is be happy in the moment. With what you're doing, be happy in the moment. Do what you're being called to do. Don't overthink the process, because so often in life, we overthink to the point that we outthink ourselves, or we think ourselves out of something we're being called to do. And right now, there's so much going on in the world. There's very low vibrations and there's very high vibrations. And you can choose to be in either one of those. The way to get into the lower vibration is by watching the news, by reading a lot of social media posts that are very negative. There's somebody in the vegan space right now who's super, super negative and even argues with other vegans, trying to get vegans to fight with each other, and obviously tries to fight with carnivores. And the whole point being of what he's doing is he is at a lower vibration. And I'm assuming it's a man. I don't know that for sure, but I'm making that assumption. And it could be a woman for all I know. But the reality is that by what you do, by how you set the tone for the day, you are either going to be in a low vibration or you're going to be in a high vibration. What I do to stay out of the low vibration is when I get up, the first thing I do is I drink quite a bit of water, usually about 20 to 24 ounces, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But I start my day by replenishing my body with fluids. And the next thing I do is I actually make myself a cup of tea. It's an herbal cup of tea. And I set that aside so that I can do my yoga. I do yoga for on the low end, 15 minutes. And I find that when I do at least 30 to 45 minutes, I get in a much better space. Then what I do is I'll read something inspirational. That inspirational reading will get me in the right mindset for the day. Then I'll do a little bit of journaling, I'll do some meditation, and then I go on a run. Sometimes I run right in the area that I live. I'm in a rural community in Oregon. I can run in my local area, or if I just want to change it up slightly, I go to actually my favorite running place, which is Doris Ranch. And I enjoy a run along the river. While I'm running, I usually listen to music from usually the 70s or 80s, and it takes me back to that time in my life when there was a lot of confusion. I really didn't know how to do life the way that I know how to do it now. And obviously, when you're in your 20s or 30s, you're going to be doing life a lot differently than when you're in your 50s, 60s, and now moving into my 70s in a couple of years. And I look at that and I think, the old saying, if I only knew then what I know now. But if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have gone through the experiences that have gotten me into the mindset that I'm in today. One is to go vegan. Going vegan by far has been one of the best decisions that I've made in my life. The other best decision that I made was when I got sober in 1983. I quit drinking in 1983, November 11th, 1983. I'll remember it like I remember my birthday because it is a birthday. I was reborn into a different mindset, into a different way of living. That was a really, really great decision because drinking, one of the reasons they call alcohol spirits is because when you drink a lot, you go into a different mindset and it's like the evil spirits start showing up, at least for people like me. And so I quit drinking and then I quit doing drugs in 1987. So there were two main timeframes where I made huge decisions that shifted my life. From that point, then I was able to more clearly focus on what was important in my life to live a life of quality, to live a life of alignment. And what I know about alignment is that there are different degrees of alignment that we get to in life where we might think we're in alignment and then something happens to make us realize, oh, I wasn't necessarily in alignment. And for me, it was rescuing animals. It was loving animals. It was saying how much animals mean to me. And yet I was consuming animals. And I look at that now, and what I know to be true is I had to go through a level of forgiveness. So when I quit meat, and I didn't really quit meat to become a vegan. When I first quit meat, it wasn't to become vegan. It was because I had inflammation. And I wanted to do whatever was possible to get rid of the inflammation because I had a lot of pain in my wrist. And when I ran, the recovery time was really slow. So if I ran maybe 5-10 miles the next day, I wasn't good for running. And since quitting meat, now my recovery time is incredible. I can run every single day. And I usually run at least 5 days a week. So I digress. It's about being in alignment. Alignment is where you say one thing, you say what you believe in, you are telling people this is who I am, this is what I believe in, but your actions actually are contradictory to what you're saying. And for me, loving animals and consuming animals, there was a big contradiction. There was cognitive dissonance, as they call it. And until I made the decision to quit meat, it actually wasn't clear to me how out of alignment I was. Now, when I quit meat, I quit for 7 days because I wanted to get rid of inflammation. And I thought, okay, I'll give it 7 days. After 7 days, I was feeling great. The inflammation was gone. I had clearer thinking. I was sleeping better. And I dropped a few pounds. At the time, I was considerably heavier than I am now. Then I thought, okay, I'll do it for another 7 days. And it still wasn't for the animals. It was strictly for me to feel better. Well, after the next 7 days, dropped more weight, was feeling better. My recovery time in running was much better. And I was starting to get clear on a few things in business that I needed to get clear on. And that was nearly 4 years ago. Today, I couldn't imagine consuming any kind of meat or animal product or dairy. And it was 6 months into my journey of being a vegan that I actually realized that I'm a vegan. I initially called myself plant-based, and then I realized, well, actually, you're a vegan, because it really was about the animals. Initially, it was about health. That's why I didn't call myself vegan. And then I realized, no, it's about the animals. So for me, what keeps me on the straight and narrow, what keeps me aligned, is that it's for the animals first, it's for my health, and it's for the environment. And the veils get stripped away. As I went further and further into this, I actually got my certification through Cornell University as a plant-based nutritionist, and it was plant-based nutrition certification. I got my certification because I really thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. And so often our head gets into the game instead of trusting our heart, trusting our gut, and really following intuition. And went through the certification, fantastic course. It was a fantastic course. And I started really delving into what would it be to become a nutritionist. And what I realized was that wasn't my passion. That wasn't my calling. That is not my life's work. My life's work is marketing and promotions and publicity now within the vegan space. And so the life's work, what I shared with you about marketing, promotions, visibility, all of that, those are the details of helping to shine a light on the vegan lifestyle, and also to do it with grace and to do it with positivity, to not judge other people for the journey that they're on, because some people start the vegan lifestyle as vegetarians, and there's this whole discussion about vegetarians are bad people, vegetarians are not doing it right. They're doing what they are being called to do. And to judge somebody for where they're at, instead of raising awareness, instead of having discussions, instead of bringing them along, is probably the worst thing that you can do. Because now that's a judgment, but the reality is that when you tell people they're wrong, they're going to actually put their heels in the ground and dig in and defend their position. So rather than telling somebody they're wrong, congratulate them. That is really wonderful that you've given up red meat, that you've given up chicken, that you've given up fish. And right now what you're eating is cheese. Can we have a discussion around that? And so the whole point of this particular episode is to really look at where you're at with what you're doing, to trust your intuition and to follow your life's path, and realize that your life's path can influence other people, but your judgment probably won't influence people. It'll probably upset them. It'll probably have them dig their heels in, and it'll probably have them turn the other way. So if you truly want to do your life's work, do it through love, do it through compassion, do it through empathy, and do it through patience and kindness, because you'll get a lot further with that. This is Kathleen Gage with Vegan Visibility, encouraging you. Go visit my website to see all the services I offer. Now my business is called Vegan Visibility. It was Power Up for Profits. Prior to that, it was Street Smarts Marketing. As I've evolved and changed as a human being, as a spirit, as a person that is going through a human experience, a spiritual person having a human experience, what I realize is that it's up to me how much I put out to my market to let them know who I truly am, and to realize not everybody's going to like that, and that's okay. I am here to work with a core group of people who are meant to work with me. This is Kathleen Gage, wishing you a great day.
You've been listening to the Vegan Visibility Podcast Show. Be sure to subscribe to get notified when the next episode is live. And we always appreciate reviews. Join us next time for more inspiration, education, and motivation to build your business one cruelty-free and healthy person at a time.